segment I've done in a while, but I'm back. The hand of God will never go away. The hand of God, remember, does not glorify God. It smacks him in the face whenever he tries to enter this world. God is a being who claims to be able to do anything and everything without anyone's help and without accountability to anyone. Because of that, he hurts other people. We should not have that energy in this world. There are many good beings that one would regard as supernatural in existence. Ironically, these include our very own human relatives who've passed away. We should glorify them as well. I call upon all my human relatives who passed away to come here. And I call upon the energy of all my good living relatives as well. My name is Chijioke. Thank you for joining me. I call upon my entire category of life. Abarinkeke. Let's go. We're the heat gods. Let me give you two pieces of information myself if you're new so that you can get to know me. First, my astrological moon sign is Pisces. And second, I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. Today I'm going to be discussing the god of thunder and how it's complicated. I've talked about this before, but I'm doing it again. Again, the Hand of God segment is where I come to talk about things I've talked about before, again and in more depth. This is my rough draft space. My rough drafts are deep. Let's go. Kalakanu karani meha abuma madyu niveya abuma madyu nizeya is it what I kanu karaki abuma madyu nuko ya uko amadyu niveya is it what I'm kaka is it what I'm anyway abum is it what I'm namakaka abum namakaraya na uwa abum amadio he ha. Gwerebu amadio ha Gwerebu kike kaka abum gwere he ha abum gwere he ha. Kalakanu kara namanua abum nama of the hand of God abum nama kaka abum nama kara namanua abum nama no kika. I see I've registered viewers. Thank you very much. Every view is a blessing. Every view as well. Kalakanu kara ki ha ha abuma madyu ha nive ya abuma madyu ha he ha abuma madyu ha hand of God abuma madyu ha he namankezebu amadyu ha namabui hezena madyu ha abuma madyu ha ba abum kalakanin kosha kaka Kalakanu kara nacha ha ha abuma mario ha inke acha abuma mario ha nacha ya abu macha mario ha kaka abu macha mario ha nuwa abuma mario ha. Okay, I've talked about this before many times. The first time I talked about this was in my pre-recorded video. The hand of God, the God of Thunder is complicated. Check that out here in the pre-recorded video section on Chimoge's comments. I've also talked about this topic multiple times in previous live streams. I'm gonna go at it again. I'm gonna have four main points as to why the God of Thunder is complicated. Obviously, this is not every aspect of it, but these are my four main points. First, the first reason, and I just saw the number 444, we passed the 4 minute and 44 second mark. That's a sacred number. That's the number of Ewi, the radio. And I also saw 451. Let's make a wish. May we all grow, expand forever. Anyway, first, the first reason that the God of Thunder is complicated is because there are many people within it. There are many people within it. Let me explain. There are two basic types of people in existence. One, they are what I'll call onye pa. It's hard to translate pa, but pa you can basically say is like that or exactly. Again, that's not the best word to use. English is a limited language, but you should know what I mean. Those are people like you and me, people who exist in only one place and basically one body at a time. And I say in basically one body just because from talking to my ancestors, again, for those of you who don't know, I can communicate with spirits, and I won't go into depth on that. People have different levels of ability in doing that. I have a high enough ability to do it to get information from it. I'll say it like that. Anyway, with a large degree of certainty. Anyway, um, um, from talking to my ancestors, the technical term to refer to the totality of what we tend to refer to as our being in tandem with our body is blood flow. But it's hard for us to conceptualize that. But it's just not accurate enough to call it the body. But you should get what I mean. Basically, someone like you and me can't be in a body here in Atlanta and then also in a body of the same quality over in Boston, Massachusetts. You see, not possible. You should get what I know. And thank you for all the comments. I read comments at my discretion. Every comment is a blessing. So that's one type of person. The next type of person are the expansion people. Onyeka is another name for them. That's literally what that means. Onye, person, ka, expansion. And then you can also call them the saints. Okay. You can also call them nonsense people because sometimes they're so vast and varied it's nonsensical. But that's not the centrality of their being. It's just another way to talk about them to flesh them out. So there are many both Onyeka and Onyepa, and they're all part of all the things in general. Again, there are 49 things that undergird all of existence, and they combine to make other smaller things as well and bigger things as well. But those are the base things. So they exist throughout everything. Amadio, the god of thunder, is the biggest of all these things, and therefore has the most people, both Onyeka and Onyepa. Excuse me. So, what does that mean? Even though there's overall general personality qualities and being qualities that these people have, they're still different people. So because of that, they have many contradictory qualities and what I'll call complementary qualities, but complementary qualities that no two people can, that no one person can have both of inside themselves. You understand what I'm saying? An example of this, and this is very crude, is you might have two people that are part of the God of Thunder. Say they're the love of each other's lives. They're Elu, they're Anu. One is very, what I'll call forgiving to be crude. The other is very unforgiving. They're both part of the God of Thunder, but they have complementary qualities. Again, these qualities complement because when they're acting, one can tell the other to hold back, the other can tell the other when to go and be harsh on someone. But one person could not have both qualities. I hope you know what I mean. So, anyway, when you zoom out and look at what I'm saying, because of all the people in the God of Thunder, that makes it complicated. Again, what I'm overall trying to get across with this video here is that when talking about the God of Thunder in depth, we have to limit the amount of simplistic statements and ideas we both make and put out. Anyway, so one, there are many people within the God of Thunder. Point two, there are many non-people within the God of Thunder. Yes, this is very basic, but as well as people, they're non-people. That's why it's a thing. And I'll just leave it at that. There are just many non-people. I haven't really looked at the non-people as much in depth, but some examples of non-people are actions and also just stuff like, say, stones, you see. Those are part of the God of Thunder. So they're all different. I mean, they have their own, consistent joining qualities, but they're different as well. So that makes it more complicated. Let me stand up for a second. Kalakanu kare nigwe ha, abu mamadyu ha niwe ya, abu mamadyu ha nege jika, okara ege jike kare nige kaka, abu mamadyu ha nebe ya, abu mamadyu ha nige ya, abu mamadyu ha bo be, abu mamadyu ha bo ba, kalakanu kosha kiye ha, kalakanu kosha niwe ha. I'm on Monique no Kike Kaka, Abumo Kike no Monique Kaka Kaka. I just saw 11:11. I make the wish. May my family fix itself. Kalakanu karano kike neba. Kalakanu kara sanso neba. Sanso neba. Sanso neba. Sanso neba. Sanso neba. Sanso neba. Anyway, 2 points so far. The God of thunder is complicated because there are many people within it, and the God of thunder is complicated because there are many things within it. Point 3. The God of thunder is complicated because there are many people and things that are not a part of it primarily that exhibit its qualities. What do I mean? The things all mix and mingle, and anyone and anything that exists has to interact with all of them. Therefore, there is no one who has the quality of only one thing. And I'll leave it at that. Let me give 2 examples. Nama, the father of knowledge, you can also call him Taurus. I talked about him yesterday, is by far primarily part of the thing Oshun. But when he acts, and that's how I'm saying it, but to say it in a more common worldly way today, when he does major things, when he's not just ambling around or when he's not on ice, he is part of the god of thunder. So that complicates it because he's highly associated with the god of thunder. Example 2. Most animal categories of life are not part of the god of thunder in terms of what thing they come from Natu Matu as an idea. But animals themselves as a concept are part of the god of thunder. So therefore, every animal to an extent is a part of the god of thunder. You see how complicated that is. Let's move. Kalakanu karaniya, abu mamadiya niweya, abu mamadiya bobobe, abu mamish kalakanu kaka, abu mamish yanmanu kaka, abu mamadiya madiya, abu mamadiya niweya, kalakanu karaniya, abu mamadiya niweya. Abu Mamadio Nekejike, Ekejike Buokike Kabumo Para Ekejike Na Iweya. So that's point 3. Point 4 about why the God of Thunder is complicated. The qualities of the God of Thunder in many aspects change based upon whether or not someone can perceive it. Let me give you an example. The thing eke, heat, you can also call it category or passion, primarily exists when it is unseen. But when eke is seen, that is a manifestation of amadioga. An extension of this that my relatives who passed away just told me, and as I guess an additional note or grounding piece of information um, for this, there are many villages in West Africa in where pythons or boa constrictors, that type of animal, really based on how people speak in English, I think they would all be called pythons, but people regard them as the same animal. But they can all be called eke in my language, right? There are many villages in West Africa, right, where eke are said to be sacred. Okay, keep that in mind. Most eke, as in the animal, are not primarily part of the god of thunder. But anytime they're seen by another person, even someone in their own category of life, they identify with Amadioha. Mina hueke, ihura Amadioha, kalakanu kara. Abuma Madioha, ball, ball, ball. So, those are my 4 points about why the God of Thunder is complicated. Thank you very much. I'll take a short break and then I'll make them again. Kalakanu kare niwe ha ha, abuma madyu ha niwe ya. Kalakanu kare niwe ha ha, abuma madyu ha niwe ya. Abuma pare eke jike ka 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 ka, abuma pare eke jike niwe ha ha. Eke jike buwa madyu ha, eke jike buwa jike ka ka, abuma eke ka 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 ka. Abu eke nuan peta, abu para eke ka 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 ka, abu eke ka 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 ka, abu eke ha ha ha, iro eke la yamandi yo ha, iro eke la yo ike ka ka, abu mamandu ha he ha, abu mamandu ha he ha, kalakana kare neke neba. Pare eke keke kaka, abu pare eke mone boa, ira eke le amandi yoha, ira eke le kike kaka, abu mamadioha ni mengwa, abu mamadioha ni mengwa, abu mamadioha ne keya, abu monishi eke karayana uwa, abu monishi eke no keke ka, abu monishi eke kaka kaka. Abu Monishieke ka 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 ka. You can also call Onishi Kalakanu, Onishieke. The head of the god of thunder is also the head of heat. Wow. But yes, there is also the most exact Onishieke as well. Shout out to him wherever he is. And shout out to all the Onishieke throughout the universe. Kalakanu Kareki, ha. Kalakanu Kareki, Abumo para eke kaka ekebua madyuha abumeke nu one keta para eke ne mi veneba abumo para even one keta abumeke kaka kaka abumo para eke nu one keta abumo para eke mone meke nema abumo para eke jike kike kaka eke jike bua madyuha eke jike bu Abumo para eke jike inte ka. Abumo para eke jike inte ta. Kabrunam nogoha. Ijundum ka, azundum kara, abuma madioha. Kam jaza, kam biaza, namabaza. Abuma cook, aname biaza. Ka. Welcome to all my past lives, as well as all of my ancestors and all my relatives who passed away. Welcome to my whole audience. So let's go again. The god of thunder is complicated. In the world today, people want to oversimplify metaphysics, and they come up with evil categories. Even good people do these things. When misled, a righteous man can strike down Eke. Abumopara eke jike nu one keta abumopara eke jike kaka kaka. The biggest thing they do is try and reduce everything into dichotomies. Either it's good and of God, the being who's all powerful and all perfect, or it's bad and of Satan or someone else, the being who, for some reason, you have to care about but will ultimately lose and is all bad or something, or maybe can be saved by God, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Not good. We need to get more sophisticated. I suggest we start by looking at the God of thunder, the closest positive thing we have in existence to the archetype of God. Because again, it's possible to have a god of thunder. It's possible to have the king. It's possible to have a world leader archetype. It's not possible to have God. Ironically, there are two beings you can call God that are part of the god of thunder. The first one is the base template of our category of life, but he is not that idea of God. He can be very bad. It's better to call him the heat god, Abarinkeke. Yes. But when he's very good, he can be many good things, and his best, he's the head of the god of thunder, Onishi Kalakana. The second one is not to be talked about much. He's the same person as Satan. And that is the person who the idea of God is primarily based upon. He lies and says he can do anything and everything without accountability. That lie is the God concept. It's pushed forward by other beings, and in the world today, it's been unleashed and it's doing a lot of damage. The God of thunder is complicated. Reason one, there are many people within it. All people, to some extent, are part of the God of thunder because personhood is a characteristic of the God of thunder. But then if you're looking at people whose being is primarily the god of thunder and or who are contained within it who are primarily contained within it basically, and I'll keep that there. That's some information I'm still looking into. There are two kinds. There are onyepa, people like me and you who can only exist in one place at one time, and then onyeka, people who can exist across time and in many different places. And when I say across time, I'm really saying in different places. It's just a fancy way of saying it. In many different places, in many different bodies. Examples of those would be God and Abarinkeke, God and the heat god. And those people show the complication. God is technically a part of the God of thunder, but he's imprisoned in its 10th ring, its outermost ring, because he's an abomination. He abuses people and lies about himself. Abarinkeke is central to the God of thunder, and all of the God of thunder can be called by his name. There are many examples like this that are less extreme but still illustrate this. And of course, people like you and me all have our differences. Even among those whose being is primarily a Madioha, we're not all the same. Yes, the God of thunder is complicated. Ka amadio ha, abuka amadio ha, abumamadio ha ka ka. Second, the God of thunder is complicated because there are many non-people within it. There are many things within the God of thunder that are not people, and this is simple. Look at the point about persons. It's the same thing with non-persons. That makes it very complicated. Very simple. Kalakanu ka 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 ka. Kalakanu ka ka wa. Kalakanu no ki ke ka. Kalakanu si se su sa. Abu eke mone meke luwa. Abu para eke ka 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 ka. Abu para eke le mandi luwa. Abu para eke le ki ke ka ka. Abu eke mone meke luwa. Eke le sanso le ma ka ka ka. Abu eke ka 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 ka. Abu mezua o puru ka ka. Abu mezua ko puru ka. Abu mamish kalakanu ka ka. Ha ha he ha 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 he. Ha ha he ha 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 he. Abumo pare ke nu anketa. Abumo pare ke ka 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 ka. Abumo pare ke ni me ho ha. Abumo pare ke ni me hua. Abumo pare eke ka ka. Abumo pare eke nuwa. Abumo pare eke nke okeke. Abumo pare okeke nke eke. Point 3. The God of thunder is complicated because there are many people and things that are primarily part of things outside of the God of thunder that have its qualities. One big example is Taurus. Taurus, the expansion person, the saint, is by far primarily part of Oshun, which is the love of the life of the God of thunder. But whenever he acts, and another way of saying that is whenever he does major actions, he is part of the God of thunder. Taurus is primarily part of Oshun by far, but when he acts, he's part of the God of thunder, and therefore he can be a symbol of the God of thunder. Second example, animals. Not all animals are part of the God of thunder, most are not by far, but the idea of an animal is part of the God of thunder, and therefore animals overall are part of the God of thunder. Let me give you a specific example. Ekwensu is the rival of the God of thunder. Its animal is by far primarily part of Ekwensu. If you see that thing, again, it's the animal we call the falcon. Think primarily of the peregrine falcon. If you see that animal, one, that's a sign of bad luck. And two, you should think of Ekwensu and then run away. But it is an animal, and therefore, to an extent, it also exudes the qualities of its rival, the God of thunder. Complicated. Kalakanu karaniwe ha. Abu mamadu aniwe ya. Abu mefefe kaka. Abu moparefefe nuanketa. Abu moparefefe kaka. Abume fefe ne ive ya. Abume manyu haneke ya. Abume para eke kaka kaka. Abume para nkeke kaka kaka. Abume nkeke ha ha. Abume zu nkeke uwa. Abume zu eke nuwa keita. Abume kuruba ka ke. Abume kuruba ka maziriza. Ka maza I'm a madyuha. Fourth, the god of thunder is complicated because its qualities change based on when and how it is perceived. The biggest example of this is the thing Eke. Eke itself is a thing that is clearly another thing outside of the god of thunder. It is in its own right one of the 49 things. Eke, Orie, Afal, and Qual. Heat, the dreaded mixer, the soil, and oh no, that's my screen, sorry. And the wind. Basically the four elements. Those are the four Opuru Ihe, under things. Eke is the world leader of them. But Eke spends most of its existence unperceived. Heat is not perceived most of the time. But when it erupts, that is a Madyoha, that's the god of thunder. There I go. Kalakanu kareni we ha ha. Abu Mamadyoha ye ha. Abu Mamadyoha di ge ya. Abu Mamadyoha ga ga ga. Quick together. Quake ka 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 ka. Quake ha 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 ha. A quake that is in Guere. A quake that is in Guere. Abu Mamadyoha ni we ya. Abu Mamadyoha he he ha. Abu Mamadyoha bo be. Abu Mamadyoha paw pa. Kalakanu kare neke neba. Abu Mamadyoha ni we ya. Abu Mamadyoha he he ha. Abu Mopare eke nuanke ta. Abu Mopare eke ka. Abu Mopare eke niwe ha ha. Abu Mopare eke nime ho ha. Ooh, Abu Mamadyoha Nke Ashu. Abu Mamadyoha Nke Ashu. Abu Mamadyoha He ha. Abu Mamadyoha nive yo ha. Abu Mamadyoha nive yo ha. Kalakanu kare nime yo ha. Abu meke ka. Abu meke mone meke nuba. Abu mo pareke he ha. Abu mo pareke nime yo ha. Abu mo pareke he ha. Abu mo pareke nime kaka. Kalakanu mare eke neba. Kalakanu mare eke ha. Abu Mamadyoha ba be. Abu Mamadyoha neke ya. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go take a break from live streaming now. But please patronize my business and think about what I said. Thank you. See you. Kalakanu kare